When you're mounting a scope, like everybody's different, they've all got their own ideas, and this is the old school method of doing it. Sorry about the wind, so hopefully you can hear this alright. Yes, this is the old school method, but it still works. We did it for years and years and never had any dramas. But to tell you the truth, the last time I bought a 6.5 Creedmoor, it had a barrel scope fitted on it. They used the little attachment that goes in the end of the barrel. They set it up and said, that'll get you on paper, no problem at all. I took it out to a friend's property and mate, couldn't hit shit with it. It wouldn't hit an A4 piece of paper at 50 yards. It was terrible. So I bore-sighted it, which is the old school way of doing it, but I'll show you what I do. I will set the rifle up on a stand at home and I'll drop a string line down and I'll make sure that the gun is dead set upright. Once I've done that, I then sit the scope on there. I roughly work out where it's going to go forward and backwards for eye relief, and then you can actually shine a torch backwards through the scope, put your string line back behind it onto a wall, and you can see the reticle come through. And that way you know that the reticle is now dead set in line with the rifle. If that's the way you want it set up, and that's how I want mine set up. Now when working out your eye relief for your scope, again everyone has their own ideas, but for me, you work it out the way you're going to shoot that rifle. This one here, the 6.5, I'm only going to use it for target shooting, and I'm going to shoot prone. I'm not on a bench, I'm shooting prone, so that's how I check out my eye relief and set the scope. If I'm shooting hunting and I'm standing up, I do it differently. Now what I do is I mount the scope where I think it's going to be, then close your eyes, shoulder the rifle, whether you're standing, bench resting or prone, shoulder the rifle with your eyes shut. You're getting yourself comfortable, you know what you're doing, you open your eye. And if the scope is the right distance from your eye, you've got the right amount of scope shadow around there, on the setting that you're going to use the most on that rifle, whether it be a high power scope or a low power, that's when you want to set your eye relief. You don't want to shoulder the rifle with your eyes shut, open your eyes and have to move your head forward or move your head back to get good vision. So I hope that makes sense. That's how I do it, seems to work, and I like it so whenever I pick up my rifles I can instantly shoulder them in a hurry, particularly if I'm hunting, and it's exactly where I want. It's the right height. When I got my 6.5 Creedmoor, they had taller rings on it, and you'll get all sorts of arguments about how high the scope should be from the barrel, and it should be as close as possible, blah blah blah. But again, it comes down to the rifle, I think, it comes down to the rifle, the shouldering, how it feels. So when that rifle was in my hands and I've shouldered it with my eyes shut and I'm comfortable, ready to shoot, the scope was too tall. I had to lift my head up all the time. So I went back, I got smaller rings for it and brought the scope down. You know, it's probably only 5 to 10 mil, and that was enough that it felt comfortable, and now I'm confident that when I'm hunting, if I see something, I can shoulder that rifle instantly and not waste time trying to work out where I'm seeing. So this 6.5, I've already tested it. I laid down and I set my eye relief from where I feel comfortable with the rifle. I've still got to put my little cheek riser on here yet, it's still in the bag. I've had the cheek riser out because I've been bore sighting it. Now to make sure we're going to be on paper, the best way I've found to do it is put the rifle on a bag, and I probably can't see down there at the moment. Where are we? And you look directly down the barrel, and I pick a target that hopefully is approximately 100 yards away, and if it's straight up, that'll help me get my left to right sorted out, and then I might have to find a different target to aim at which is horizontal, and then I can get my elevation. And all you're doing is put the rifle, whether it be on a bag or a rest or whatever, pointing at your in a safe direction at the target you want to aim at, and then so it's hands free, you can look through the bore Make sure that the center circle that you can see with the light, and you have an even dark circle around the outside of it, so you know that that circle is now right in line with the rifle in your eye. Then you come up, check out where the reticle is, do your adjustments, and with a bit of luck that's going to get us on paper. I'm just going to fire a shot or two at 50 yards and see if my theory comes good. It's worked in the past. Let's have a go. So I'll assemble the rifle, put a couple of shots in it. We've got our targets down range there. I've got one set at 50 yards and one at 100 yards. We're just going to do the 50 first. That's 2 shots through the one hole, so we're good there. Not overly concerned about the elevation, although we do need to go up because that should be shooting high to get there. But the reason I use these long range shooting handbook targets is that's 1 MOA at 100 yards, and that's 2. So if you look at the scale here, at 50 yards, L2, so that's 2 MOA, 4 MOA at 100 yards. So now we know what we've got to adjust back. So let's go back to the rifle and make our adjustments. So you can see that my old school method of bore sighting works. Got to remember at 50 yards everything is half of what it would be at 100 yards. So we're 2 inches off to the right, which at 100 yards would mean be 4 inches off. That's still hitting paper at 100 yards, an A4 piece of paper. So just by looking through the bore, adjusting the scope accordingly to my eye, I got it within 1 inch down at 100 yards and 4 inches across. That's still going to hit a pig. So now anyway, we'll do some adjustments and we'll fire it again. So now we'll do our adjustment. This is our windage adjustment. We're going to turn it clockwise, which will take the impact to the left. And because we're 2 inches out, there's a 1/4 inch MOA, so 1/4 inch at for 1 click. So we need to go not 2 inches, we need to go 4 because we're aiming for 100 yards. So we need to go 16 clicks. Okay, now we'll do our elevation, and we actually want to go up 1/2 inch at 50, so that's 1 inch at 100, so we need to go up 4, so we need to turn it anti-clockwise. Let's fire a couple of shots and see where we end up. Not too shabby. So that was my first shot, that was my second one. That's why I like to fire at least 2 when I'm doing this. And if I'm actually testing ammo and the load, different loads and different bullets, I'll shoot a 5-shot group just to check, because you could always have a variation of the bullet or yourself or a bit of gust of wind or whatever. We've still got a little bit of wind, but it's so light and with such a short distance, this bullet's not going to be affected by wind, so that's probably just me. So I'm happy with that now, so let's go out to 100 yards. Another 50 over there, 100 yards, and we'll see how we go. bad, fairly straight. One's a little bit higher than the other. I might just give it one click to the right, maybe one click down, and we'll fire 2 more shots. Well, that's interesting. So that was our first shot, that was our second shot, and that is our third and fourth shot through the same hole. You can just see it elongate a little bit there. So considering a little bit of a breeze from right to left, I think I'll keep that at the moment. That will do us. We're just going to undo these turret caps. Got 3 little screws. They should come straight up. Bring that round to 0. Slide that back on. Tighten up the screws gently, they don't need much pressure. You can see that we're set to 0. We'll do that for the windage adjustment as well. Put that at 0. Then we've got a starting point, and then we can start pushing it out further and further, and not on this trip, but next trip we'll reach out to a kilometre. Thanks for watching. Hit the subscribe button, give it a like, it all helps. If you like shooting and you like hunting, fishing, all of that sort of stuff, giving it a like, it doesn't benefit me other than going, yeah, cool, someone liked my video, but it helps the algorithm and it keeps our sport going, and it allows YouTube and that might keep putting content like this up there rather than cutting it all out and all being censored. So up to you. Get out there and enjoy it, and sleep when you're dead.